Recently, Donald Trump made it clear US military operation against Iran will continue, and they will continue until our objectives are achieved. That sounds strategic, but it also sounds open-ended. And markets hate open-ended timelines because uncertainty is the most expensive commodity on earth. Trump confirmed that combat operations are ongoing, and he warned that more casualties may come. Not exactly conforming language for investors. But here's the key part. The operations are tied to objectives, not timelines, not negotiations. Objectives. That changes everything economically. Because when war is tied to goals, it becomes duration uncertain, and duration drives cost. The US has struck hundreds of targets. Military infrastructure has been hit, naval assets destroyed, leadership structures disrupted, and the state missions neutralize long-term threats, including nuclear capacity concerns. That sounds like security policy, but economically, that's regime-level risk. And regime-level risk means oil volatility, supply chain instability, currency fluctuation. The strange of hormones matters, and suddenly it's back to the headlines. Oil markets respond fast to fear, not facts. Even speculation can move billions. Energy shocks ripple outward. Fuel prices rise. Transportation costs spike. Inflation gets sticky again. Yes, again. Polling shows limited support in the US. That matters economically because political division equals policy risk, and policy risk is scarce capital. Business pause investment. Markets becomes cautious. Central banks rethink rate path. Suddenly, this is not a regional story anymore. Global airspace disruptions are already reported. Missiles exchanges are expanding the theater. That affects insurance and costs, shipping lanes, trade routes, and yes, supply chains again. Just when the world thought logistics chaos was over, Trump said operations could last weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe longer, because objectives involve, and history shows. Mission scope tends to expand. Investors know this, and they price risk accordingly. Every strike increases speculations. Every retaliation multiplies it. Oil doesn't wait for diplomacy. It reacts to headlines. And right now, the headline is persistence. But only after objectives are met. That's conditional diplomacy, which means markets can rely on it. Some experts warn about precedent. The use of force without a global mandate raises concerns. That's not just legal debate. It affects alliances, trade partnerships, and financial confidence. How long will this last? Because duration determines budget strength, debt trajectory, defense spending spikes, and future tax implications. The US already lost service members. Trump warned more may follow. That signals commitment, and commitment signals cost. Investors are watching. Central banks are watching. Governments are watching. Because this is no longer local. This is systemic. Fast objectives completion. Extended campaign. Negotiated statement. Each has different economic impact. Objective-based warfare changes planning cycles. Governments must prepare for open timelines. And markets must price unknown ending. This conflict reinforces a new brand reality. Secure decisions shape economies. Military moves shape inflation. Geopolitics drive growth outlooks. Translation: war is now an economic instrument, not just a military one. If objectives are achieved quickly, markets stabilize. But if not, volatility becomes the new normal. Trump's statement is clear. Operations continue until objectives are met. That signals resolve, but also uncertainty. And uncertainty is expensive. This is not a romantic story of power. It is a serious moment of economic risk. The world isn't just watching missiles. It's watching marketing, watching oil, watching trade, watching inflation. Because in 2026, war doesn't just reshape borders. It reshapes balance sheets. And that's the reality we must face. Calmly, realistic, without drama. without illusion. The objective may be military, but the impact is economic, and the outcome will be global. Because once objectives are defined, escalations become measurable. And when escalations become measurable, markets start recalculation timelines, not emotional timelines. Investors begin asking practical questions. How long will shipping insurance remain elevated? How long will oil futures price geopolitical risk? How long before energy corridors stabilize again? Informally speaking, money hates suspense. And right now, suspense is part of the policy framework. Global manufacturers are already adapting scenarios. Scenario 1: quick objectives completion. Scenario 2: prolonged strategy pressure. Scenario 3: negotiating off ramp. Each scenario produces a different inflation path, a different logistical structure, a different consumer confidence outlook. And this is where the economic lens becomes essential. Because while masses move fast, supply chains move slowly. A disruption today can echo for months, sometimes years. Informal containers don't report overnight. Energy importing nations are particularly sensitive. They are watching closely for price stability signals, especially in Asia, especially in Europe. Central banks now face a familiar dilemma: fight inflation or protect growth, because geopolitical shocks often force monetary hesitation. Cuts may be delayed, liquidity may be tightened, and markets adjust before policy even moves. Defense spending expectations are also rising, which means budget recalculations are coming. Infrastructure may wait. Social programs may be reprioritized. Informally, war reshuffles spreadsheets. Yet there is a stabilization side too. Clear objectives create measurable endpoints, and measurable endpoints allow planning. Planning restores confidence. Confidence restores investment. That is the positive structural science here. This is not indefinite chaos. It is conditional engagement, and conditional engagement suggests inventory closure. Markets can live with that. Business can prepare for that. Governments can budget for that. The real test will be execution speed, because in economics, duration is destiny. The shorter the conflict window, the faster stability returns. And stability is still the ultimate global objective. So tell me, what do you think about it?